So yeah, that changed the game for me because I came from an agency world. And jumping from that to tech was that's how I grew my income a lot.
Let go!
Yeah.
Come on, give me some love.
It is.
Give me some love. See, she said it, not me.
What's happening? No capping. We with AO, about to get a plate bowl. Pull up to the table. Let's go.
Yo, so the average American today is going to have about 78% of us are living paycheck to paycheck. Let's just start right there, right? So 78% of us living paycheck to paycheck. The average single person will make about $45,000 a year. But really, when you look at people like myself, Black people, about 42% of us won't even make $30,000 this year. The average person out there who's single in their 30s and 40s is going to have anywhere between $60,000 to about $120,000 in debt. This is student loans, car notes, credit cards, weave notes, you name it. We're going to have it all, right? And I started off this year saying, you know what? I want to help single people maximize their single season. And a part of me is like, hey, my ultimate message is I want to help people get out of debt and build wealth. Then the next part of my brand and my desire is to really help single people maximize their single season. How do we come to the table when we do find the love of our life and we come to the table with less baggage? I'm not saying we're coming to the table perfect, but I started this network called the Neatness Network. How do we come to the table neat? Not perfect, not messy, but neat. And today I'm really excited because I was on Instagram, and I'm always on Instagram, just looking for good stories to bring to the table to encourage you, to inspire you. And this young lady just got out of debt, paid off about $101,000 in like 5 years by herself. No man, okay? No boyfriend cutting her a check, at least I don't think so. And she's a sister. And y'all, you're gonna be surprised of how much money she was making to start this journey. But before we get to this amazing story with my sister, Elena Curry, I want to remind you of two important things. You know, as we are going through this year, inflation is up, stress is up, people are working from home, people are losing jobs, people are trying to figure out what are they doing with their life. And can I just be real, some of us are single and some of us are lonely. Just a few weeks ago, a young lady committed suicide because she wasn't, I'm going to say it respectfully, but she needed some help. And I want to encourage you all to seek help. Even if you think your mind is okay, even if you think your life is okay, we all need a tune-up. We all need to go to someone we can just talk to and just really just talk. We need to pay someone that we can go in there and curse if we need to curse, scream if we need to scream, cry if we need to cry, lay out on the floor and just talk about life. And I do that 2 times a month. I do it at BetterHelp. I call my therapist, and me and my therapist, we sit down and we talk. And I'm gonna be real with you all because I really want y'all to understand the importance for me when it comes to therapy. I have stressful days. I have days that I feel like crying. I have days that I question, am I doing the right thing? Am I thinking the right way? I have those days. And I know if I have those days, so do you. And I'm telling you, I go to church every Sunday. I love God. But he gave the gifts and talents to therapists to help us process things internally. And so I partner with BetterHelp because I love what they're doing over there. And I am an avid BetterHelp attendee, whatever you want to call it. I see my therapist twice a month, and they're offering you a huge discount. And I want you to check it out. Go to anthonyoneal.com/BetterHelp, and they will help you get to a therapist. And check this out. They're going to give you like 20% off your first full month. And even if you don't do 2, get 1 session and try it out. And I promise you, you will thank me later. And so before we get to today's show, hit subscribe. Stop dating me. I'm a good-looking brother with some good-looking information. Marry your boy, okay? Okay, can you marry me? Hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up, because you're going to love today's show. Let's get straight to it. What's up, sis? How are you?
I'm so excited.
Yo.
So excited.
Listen, I mean $101,000.
Ooh, it hurts every time I hear that number.
In 5 years?
Yes.
Okay, what was it?
So, Majority of it was student loans, but I also had about $8,000 in credit cards, and I had a $14,000 car note.
$14,000 on a car note.
Yes.
What kind of car was it?
Mazda.
It was a Mazda?
Used Mazda.
A used Mazda. At least you bought it used.
Yes, I did
Okay.
buy used, yeah.
Okay. Do you still have it?
Yes. I
That's
still
what's
have it.
outside right now? That's a
No,
beautiful
it's
car.
not. I rented that car.
You rented that
yeah.
car? You ain't want to put miles on a Mazda
No,
driving down here.
not from coming from Texas.
Yo, I understand, Okay, so let me ask you this question. When you think about financial freedom, I want you to go all the way back to when you had this debt.
Yeah.
What made you think I need financial freedom? Like, what started that whole journey with you?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I really wasn't thinking about financial freedom. I just wanted to pay this debt off. So my first goal was debt freedom.
Yeah.
And I think once I started this journey, I started to read more about wealth building. I started to learn more about how to build legacy and all of these different things. And so my goal shifted. And I think God really showed me this is part of honoring him, and this is part of discovering purpose for you. So it really did shift from just being a numbers thing to being a purpose thing.
Wow.
So I originally started $30,000 was my salary, and that was
whoa. Jesus. Wait. You started thinking about paying off debt when you were only making $30,000, gross or net?
This was gross.
How old were you then?
So I started at 26.
What were you doing making $30,000 gross?
So I was a publicist. I'm still a publicist.
Okay.
So I was doing that in Vegas.
Okay.
But I was still kind of entry level. So yeah, working at pretty much the entry bottom.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So 26, and my goal was to pay it off by 30.
Okay, pause. $30,000 making as a publicist in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Okay. Back at 26 is 5 years ago. Living with family?
Yes. Well, so originally, I'm from Dallas.
Okay.
And I moved to Vegas for a job.
Okay.
So at the time, I have my own place. I'm looking like I'm doing things, traveling, all the things that you're supposed to do when you graduate and get a degree.
Right.
And then after I kind of had this come to Jesus of no, you need to get your finances together. I had an uncle who lived there, and I asked him if I could move in. So I really didn't even have a super close relationship with them yet.
Okay.
But they were like, sure, yeah, come. So I left my apartment, and I literally, that rent payment that was the start of it, and I went straight to debt. Yeah.
And how long did you stay with him?
I stayed with both of them about 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
And just attacked the debt.
People used to laugh because when they would come visit me, I only had a little room upstairs, but I wrote the number down on my mirror. So every day I would just see this number and to keep me motivated. And people be I cannot believe it. I remember this number on your mirror in your uncle's house.
Right.
So yeah, it was crazy.
Was he supportive of that?
Yes.
Paying off the debt part?
Very much.
Did you tell him why you wanted to move in?
Yes. So I sat down with them, and I was honest about hey, I need something to get ahead, and I knew that I was going to have to cut down somewhere. And so I told them what my goal was. And I was I want to pay off all of my debt, my student loans, which everyone is that's impossible. You're going to die with student loans, all the things. And yeah, they were we're for it. Yeah. Wow. They're huge fans of you, by the way.
Oh, man. I'm huge fans of them. Just for them allowing you to come home and to really focus on building.
Yeah.
I think that's important. So what's the strategy? So when you moved in with them, how did you do it?
So I ran the numbers. So I laid out how much I needed to start paying off towards the debt to get towards my goal. So my goal was to be debt free by 30. That was what I wanted to do. So after I did that, putting the rent payment was a huge that really did a lot. But I realized on my income, I'm only making $30,000. I can't it's not going to happen.
Right.
So I did everything. I sold stuff on eBay. I was freelance writing because I kind of maximized like what my skill set already was, being in publishing or a publicist. And I worked at Michael Kors on the weekends. Like at some point I was working 7 days a week.
7 days a week?
Yes.
Sounds like between like 3 jobs.
It was, between 3 because I would do like freelancing, which was something. And then I would work at Michael Kors.
Right.
So I would drive all the way there and then I would do my day job.
And your day job. And your day job is a publicist, or were you your own publicist?
No, I was working for an agency in Vegas. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So it was hustle.
3 jobs at 26, 27.
Yeah.
But that sounds like it's determination.
Yeah, I mean, once I like really, I think going into this, I didn't know anything about money. Like I didn't know anything about savings, investing. I knew nothing. I knew like growing up, like you just supposed to save, and that was the only conversation we ever had. So once I started to like really educate myself and learn like all of these different principles and like why it was important, and honestly, it was an actual like conviction. I really did feel like the Lord was telling me like, hey, you need to do this, like honor me in this way. I locked in. And it, in moments there was times where I was just like, I mean, like 25,000, that's enough. Like. Ahead, but I stayed on that journey, and last year I did it.
You did it last year. Wow. So you had to get some pay raises in there, right?
Yes, definitely.
so over the 5 years, what would you say you averaged throughout those 5 years? Because you started at 30, but what did you average over those 5 years?
I would probably say around 60 to 70.
That is not bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I would say, probably around there.
But still 60 and 70,000 after taxes as a single woman, right? No kids?
Mm-mm.
Okay. That's still about $40,000 net.
Yeah.
So you were still disciplined, determined, and being wise and being a good steward with your money.
Yeah.
What was the hardest thing? I'm curious.
I think like when you're doing this, people are like, okay, girl, like, that's cute, and you have to say no to a lot of things. Like there are things that you have to sacrifice missing out on, and like me being, my family and friends are in Texas, but I was in Vegas, and so trying to like, you want to be involved in things like that, but I had to say no to a lot of things. So it was a lot of.
Like what? I'm curious.
Like weddings, baby showers, coming home.
You didn't go to weddings?
I went to like a couple, but not like, around 27, that's when everybody wants to get married.
Yeah.
So like, I wasn't doing a whole bunch. I would just do the ones that were like really close to me. But it had to be like, I planned it out. Like it wasn't like these spur of the moment trips or, brunches. You
said no to brunches?
I did.
In Vegas?
Sunday fun day. I did.
You weren't going out with your girls?
No, I wasn't.
How was your dating life over the 5 years?
It wasn't.
You didn't date?
No.
Why though?
Well, okay, Vegas is a very unique market, so.
Whoa.
So.
Whoa. Elena, what do you mean by Vegas is a very unique market?
Well, people come and go, and then a lot of people, it just isn't in line with my lifestyle. So.
But there got to be some good brothers out there.
Maybe I didn't meet them. But also I really was like head down focused, like this is what I want to do. So
when ladies say I'm head down focused on my career, it's just saying, "Oh, you just not my type."
Maybe. Maybe it was.
Oh my God. Do you still live in Vegas now?
No, I'm in Texas.
Okay, you back in Dallas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I went back home.
All right, when did you go back home?
So I went back in 2020. I ended up getting a job that was fully remote. So it was like, well, nothing's like really keeping me here. My mom was in Dallas, and so I moved back then. Yeah, and I've been back ever since.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard to believe you didn't date nobody for 5 years.
I didn't. The silence. I did it. I just was like focused. I was focused on like building my career, and I was focused on paying off my debt, and that's what I did.
Do you regret that?
No.
You don't regret no friendships or not friendships. You don't regret not dating, not doing a little bit more during your debt-free journey?
Well, I wouldn't say like I didn't do anything. I mean, when it comes to dating, no, I really wasn't dating. But I think I was just more strategic in the things that I was participating in. So it wasn't like, because there's always going to be something. Mm-hmm. Someone's always going to call you to be involved in things. And I just think I was just more like I planned things out. Mm-hmm. So I would be able to save for them and do it like with the boundaries of like what my budget was. So I still enjoyed, and over the 5 years, like I feel like with being a Dave Ramsey fan, it's like gazelle intense, but it's hard to do when you're like by yourself and you're single and you're trying to pay off. So I started to like put parameters in there for me to like enjoy and have fun. So I think that helps me honestly get across the finish line, because I think if I would have did absolutely nothing, I don't know if I would have continued.
Did you take Financial Peace University?
I didn't.
And you got out of debt. So you just did all that by, I guess, 5 years ago, I was with Dave. So that means that you just listened to his show.
Listen, I read the book.
Which book did you read?
Total Money Makeover. So that's how it all started. Okay. I had this like breakdown moment of like, I feel like out of control. Like I have all this debt. I'm missing payments, all these different things. And my best friend, she was like, well, I heard of this guy. Like, let me send you his book. And she sent me that book, and I read that book, and like a light switch just went off, and I was like, we're gonna do this.
Same story. I didn't read Total Money Makeover. I actually took the course. Actually took Financial Peace University at Celebration Church in Jacksonville.
Oh, nice.
And my dad gave me a Dave Ramsey budget form when I was starting my journey to get out of debt. So he does have the best teachings when it comes to get out of debt.
Yeah, and it's clear.
Yeah,
and
it's super easy. It's not easy, but it's super easy to understand and
right.
follow.
Especially as like with me, again, not having any money knowledge at all, it was just really great to like break it down. And so I was like, okay, I think I can do that. And then once you start, you're like, okay, I think I can do the next thing. So it was really good for me.
So you're on baby step 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Baby step 3.
3 to 6 months of expenses.
3 to 6 months, yeah.
And it took you 5 years to get out of debt. And you said the hardest thing was just pretty much telling your friends no. You said the easiest thing was not dating.
I didn't say that, but...
You did. You did say that. Did you have guys try to holler at you while you in those 5 years?
I mean, it's Vegas though,
You keep saying that.
Because I think it's a very unique experience.
But people still live in Vegas.
That's true, because I lived in Vegas.
But you're saying all the guys have the Vegas mentality?
I'm not going to say all the guys. I'm not going to generalize. But yeah, I mean, it's like, that's just a mentality. Like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But it doesn't, because things go out of Vegas too. But yeah. That was what happened.
Before getting out of debt, I think you hit something that I'm really big on. It's related to mindset. I'm curious, before paying off your debt, what was your mindset around money? Like, how did you look at money?
Yeah. Well, I didn't look at money. That was the problem.
Well, you had to look at it because you were spending it.
But it was kind of like, pray and swipe type of thing. Like I'm just going to see, or I would pay off, the minimums just to have just enough to pay something off. But I think growing up, no one really sat me down and said, like, these are the steps to, like, put yourself in a good financial situation, build wealth, like even the talk of legacy, things like that. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So I did everything that a regular college person, quote unquote, is supposed to do.
Right.
I graduated, went to school, got my first credit card on campus.
Right. Me too.
And, racked up all those student loans, graduated, got more cards, and that was it. So nothing in my mind registered of like, how you gonna pay all this stuff off?
Right.
And then you also like fall into the trap of thinking like, okay, well, I'm just gonna get a good job. Like, it's gonna be fine. That's gonna take care of everything. And then that's not the truth. So yeah.
I remember when I signed for my first credit card, my mom was like, no. And I was like, Mom, I got this. And me and my mom got into a bad argument, even to the point to where she, knocked me upside my head because I said something crazy. And no one sat down and really, the same people who was pitching me the credit cards when I first got onto the college campus, and then the same people who were saying, hey, get these student loans when I didn't need them because I had my father's GI Bill. Isn't it funny that they never said, hey, this is what's coming down the road?
Yeah.
Here's the interest that's going to be attached. Here's the penalties if you don't pay it. Here's the possibility if you don't pay it, you get collections. When you get collections, they call your job, they call your mama, they call your daddy, they call your dog, they call your neighbor.
Right.
You know, they're going to harass you for this money.
Yeah.
And I really wish that in today's society, I'm not a fan of student loans, right? So I wrote the book called Debt Free Degree with Dave Ramsey and the team over there, and we're teaching people how to get a debt-free degree. And my whole philosophy is, number one, it's go to school without racking up debt. Mm-hmm. But on the government side, it's like, hey, put a cap on how much loans you all are going to give.
Right.
Because, I mean, kids can just get loans for
so much.
Everything, and they don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, which is why so many people get upset with me when I say this. I always be like, yo, forget student loan forgiveness. Let's stop it up front first. Let's fix the system. Once we fix that, then let's talk about what we can do for the people who already have it. Because if we forgive all these people who already have it, your daughter, your kids in the future, my kids, y'all's kids, you know what I'm saying, are going to still get it. Now we got to talk about how we're going to help them forgive their student loans.
Right, yeah, it's just a cycle. My little brother, he's 21, so we're 10 years apart.
Okay.
And I see him, you know, kind of going through the same thing that I did.
You're not talking to him?
I am, but, you know, he's like, you don't know
He's 21.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, and I was the same way. Like, I wasn't, when I went to school, I wasn't thinking about money. I wasn't thinking about debt.
Yeah.
So even when I got my credit card, it wasn't like I was spending it on, like, books. Like,
right.
I was spending it on clothes to go to the
Come
party
on
that
now.
weekend.
Yo.
So, I mean,
at least you being real.
I'm being real. And but that's what hurts. It's like I paid all this interest and stuff because I was buying clothes or sushi.
So, okay, you did sushi? I did
sushi.
biscuits.
At
Red Lobster.
I had one too. I was there.
Yo, I'm in Oceanside, California, and I'm treating all my homies and all the ladies. Yo, we gonna get all you can eat lobster, please. All you can eat crab legs, and all you can eat biscuits. For certain, biscuits are free. Cool, bring them all out. I got the card. I'm rich. I really thought I was rich when I got that card. Mm-hmm. No lie. It was 2002. I got that card, and it was only $500.
Yeah.
But I thought I had all the money.
Right.
Because back in 2002, you're 31, right? I'm 37. How old are you, Alex? 30? CJ, you 45, right?
Older than that.
How old are you?
I'm 50.
You are not 50.
I am not 50.
So you remember when gas was 99 cents?
Yes.
Yes. Jeez. 99 cents was towards the end of I would say by end of 2000, right? Mm-hmm. Right around 2002, we started seeing gas around like $1.25. You know what I'm saying? Like $1.25. And man, I'm sitting here like $500 back then, that went a long ways. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hotels was $79, $99 a night, you know? And I'm like, yo, I was balling. You go to Red Lobster, you dropping $100 for a meal on the family.
I was there. I did the same thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now you go to Ruth Chris, you dropping $100 for yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm like, I don't think these young people, y'all young people, y'all don't understand what I'm talking about. So I get you when you say, man, we paid interest and penalties on food and fun.
And fun. That was it.
Not on necessities, not on books that you needed, not on the electricity bill that you needed, but on impressing people. Like your hair look good. You ain't do it on your hair.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? She saw my video, you know what I'm saying, last month. She's like, Anthony, I saw you came for us ladies with weeds.
You come for the ladies, though.
I don't come for the ladies.
The purses, you do.
What you mean?
I mean, you do.
No, I don't. See,
but it's real.
No. I got on a Gucci t-shirt right now, right? I don't think people understand what I'm saying. I don't come for people because I don't want to see them win. Yeah. I come for people is, why would you spend, because you said what, wigs can get up to $1,000.
It can.
Why would you spend $1,000 on a wig this month, $1,000 on a wig next month, $1,000 on a wig the following month, and you don't even have $500 in your savings account?
Yeah.
Now, if you come to me, you spending $1,000 here, $1,000 there, $1,000 there, you're debt free like yourself, and you got a fully funded emergency fund. I don't care what you do. You can buy a wig every single day. I don't care. care.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually put this Gucci shirt on, took it off, then put it back on, then walked around my room with no shirt on. Cause I'm like, but here's the thing. I want people to see, I want you to have what you want to have.
Yeah.
I want you to enjoy, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that you have. Cause you said that one day your goal is to be able to, you know, do an $800 wig.
I mean, that's not the right number. I mean, I want a nice one, but I think
How much is a nice one in?
I mean, it can range. $800 is in there. But I think, like, that's what gets people tripped up because people are doing these things for appearances. So even that mindset of, like, back in college, like, I was buying clothes and stuff like that to impress other people. And so I think, like, you know, I came into, like, the very beginning of kind of, like, the social media, flexing on Instagram type of thing. And now, I mean, that is what you're doing. Like, you're going to the mall. When you're shopping for your trip, is what, you know, is going to look good on my Instagram photo.
Right.
So I think that does drive a lot of people, like, mindlessly spending because they're so caught up in, like, appearances and all these different things. And that's, like, very hard to break and something I had to, like, check myself on.
Do you still have to check yourself on it now?
Definitely.
How hard is it checking yourself on not keeping up with the Joneses and really being content with your life now? And honestly, you had to do that for 5 years while you was getting out of debt.
Yeah.
Did you ever have some emotional tough seasons?
A lot of them, because again, it's like you're graduating college. It's so much pressure to, like, look like you have it all together. And, you know, when I was moving from Texas to Vegas, like, everyone's like, oh, you know, you're doing your thing out there. And so you want to keep up those appearances. I think, like, there's a part of us that, like, wants to seek, you know, affirmation and, like, making us believe that we're doing something. And for me, that is something that I feel like God had to check me on of, like, what does contentment look like? And it's not going to be in the purses, the clothes, the weaves, the cars, the trips. Like, contentment is with God. Yeah. And so for me, I would have to, like, refocus about what God is calling me to do. And that would kind of help me check back in.
You know, one of the things I tell people when it comes to getting out of debt, one of the key things to getting out of debt is unplugging from the world.
Agreed, yeah.
You know, because I think sometimes when you're on this journey and you see other people out here buying Gucci, buying wigs, Lord Jesus, going on vacations, you know, buying new cars, buying new homes, our mind will say, you know what, that's okay. Like, don't worry about the debt. Everyone has debt.
Right.
Go get that.
Yeah.
Go chase the image rather than freedom.
Right.
You know, and for me, I tell people one of the key things that I do, even to this day today, I unplug. Yeah. You know, so like next month in July, I'll take off the whole month. And for two weeks of that, I will unplug from social media. Yeah. Because even as you know, some people will call me an influencer or an expert. I'm just Anthony ONeal, a student who loves teaching people what I enjoy learning and what I'm passionate about, right? It's even I, as this successful person, still see other people and be like, yo, I can do that. Right. I can even do that better. Yeah. And I know that that's wrong thinking. Yeah. And I know that that thinking can lead me back to debt. It can lead me into making different decisions that are not healthy, that are not wise. And so to even hear you say, I mess with you, but even hear you say, you know what, I focused on myself for 5 years and I didn't date, I commend you for that, because I think a lot of people need to do that. Yeah. Need to unplug from dating, need to unplug from certain friends, need to unplug from culture, need to unplug from social media, need to unplug from some of these reality shows. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you unplug, when you unplug, you actually will get to your goals and your destination quicker. Right. Because you don't have that many distractions. Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, even going back to the dating thing, it was good for me to have that quietness because I learned who I was. And it wasn't like, you know, what social media was telling me who I was, what TV was telling me who I was. Like, I got a clear picture of, like,
who I am and my identity. And so I think that helps me maneuver and be able to focus. And even now, like being able to like question like why I want something, or is that gonna again like aid me in my purpose? Is this like where the path God has taken me? So I think that was like also extremely key, because I think when you don't know who you are, it's so easy to be swayed, and it's so easy to like buy into these different ideas of who you think you're supposed to be or how you're supposed to present yourself. So that was crucial for me, that quietness. Yeah.
What do you say to single ladies who are like you, beautiful, young, successful, no kids, got some good stuff going for themselves? But, a lot of men think that, and I'm going to ask this question, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
Okay.
But a lot of men say, what, they feel as if a lot of ladies are waiting on men to pretty much be their piggy bank.
Yeah.
And I hate that verbiage, piggy bank. But like a lot of men are like, yo, I mean, how come I just can't find a woman who's busting her butt, who's paying off her own stuff and don't need me financially?
Yeah.
But would you say because I don't know, I'm not a woman. Do you think that there are ladies out there who are waiting on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like this is not everyone's story,
right.
But when you're young, like as a little girl, like you're watching these Disney shows and you're listening to these stories, and it's like all this fairy tale. When you go to college, it's like I'm gonna meet my husband in college. So there's all these different like society ideas of like how things are supposed to happen, and I think that like not having any financial knowledge or control over your finances is giving your power away. And a lot of times when people are in relationships and things like that, like I feel like the best thing you can do is educate yourself and put that power in your hands. But yeah, I think a lot of women think like I'll just meet that person and a lot of people stay in relationships because of that too, of like I can't leave because I can't afford to, and this is the person that they're taking care of me. So I think that's a lot of reasons that women stay and they choose certain men to go after.
So now that you're debt free and you're 31,
yes,
you're in baby step 3, which is Dave Ramsey's baby steps. I know you're probably saying, what's his Dave Ramsey baby steps? Some of y'all are probably new to my tribe and don't know what we're talking about. Dave Ramsey is, I was with him for 7 years and learned so much about financial literacy. I literally stand on his foundation of his teachings, right? And he has 7 baby steps. And the first 3 that Elena is talking about is baby step number 1 is a $1,000 emergency fund. Baby step number 2 is get out of debt using a debt snowball method, where you line up all your debt from smallest to largest. You make all your minimum payments and then all of your extra income. She had 3 extra jobs. She was working 7 days a week. So all of her extra income went towards the smallest debt, right? And then she took that. When she got done with that, she didn't go spend that money. She took all that money and put it on top of the next debt. And she attacked that one with gazelle intensity like Dave Ramsey teaches. And then after baby step number 2, once you pay off all your debt, you get a fully funded emergency fund of about 3 to 6 months. And I actually have stepped further and say, you know what, I want single people to go and hit for that 6 months.
Yeah.
Because I feel as if you're single and you have no responsibilities like yourself, and if you can get 6 months in your savings account, I think a lot of single people are on jobs because they don't have cushions.
That's right.
And so it's like if you have cushion, right, for 6 months, a solid 6 months, then now you could be on a job that you want to be on.
Agreed.
And I think the problem is single people are not only just in debt, but they don't have anything in the savings. They're in debt and they need that job, where we all need income to survive and live. But if you have 6 months, you can find a situation, another job, another career path within 6 months.
Agreed. I think that's kind of like what my story is that I was in a job where I feel like I had to, and I didn't have choices. And I think that's what debt does. It shackles you so you don't have choices.
Come on!
And one of the things that I did, I told you I was doing everything, but one of the things that I did was I started doing photography on the side because I was like, well, we're just going to try different things. I had this camera. And now I have like a business that I'm trying to grow where I'm pouring into teens and young adults. And I see like clearly like I can do this. Like I can invest in these things now because I have the freedom to do so. Yeah. And I'm not worrying about like, can I pay my bills? Yeah. And I'm not worrying about who I'm going to pay back and them calling me and me ignoring and all those different things. And so I'm starting to see of like the freedom of being able to like do the things that I feel like I'm being called to do, which is exciting. So
That is awesome. And doesn't that feel good that you have the power to do that?
Right, yeah. And I think it's like, I mean, there's going to be risk with everything, but it feels nice to be like saving for something, investing in something, and not have that stress of like, if it doesn't go right, like I can't eat. And I don't have to like just have those like conversations, mental conversations anymore, because I focused so much on this for the last 5 years that I'm able to kind of like move more freely.
So how long would it take you to get to your 3 to 6 months of expenses? Because you're on that step now. right?
I'll be done in June.
You'll be done in June.
Yeah, 6 months.
6 months in June.
Yeah.
So are you staying at home now? You got your own place?
I have my own place.
Are you serious? Yes. And you stacking his bread?
Yeah. So in the process, last year I bought a condo.
Okay.
But I had a friend who ended up moving in with me, so she's renting out one of the rooms in my place.
Smart.
So I'm doing that and working and all those things.
Now wait. You bought your condo after you paid off all your debt?
It was like right before.
Right before. How was that process? Was it hard?
It wasn't hard. I think it's a lot of information. But I mean, the whole process of all this was amazing. Like in 2020, I lost my job because of the pandemic. But, you know, being able to like stay on top of my finances, like that was a period of time that wasn't stressful for me because, you know, I had, when I started hearing about the pandemic, I started saving and, but still paying off debt. And so I maneuvered through that situation, like, I don't want to say easily, but just like stress free. So I started entertaining the idea of buying a condo the next year. And after talking and seeing my options, I think a lot of times we struggle with like scarcity mindset. So another thing I was struggling with was like, will I be able to like reach my goal if I invest in this way?
Right.
And so I decided like, yeah, I can still do it. And so I bought the condo and then paid off all of my debt like 5 months later. So
how do you feel being a homeowner? I'm curious.
It's fun. It's empowering because I think this is the next step to, again, like it's about legacy, it's about wealth building.
Yes.
And so learning about like what that means and also just setting an example for like my family and like it's a long game for me. Like I want to be able to create, you know, new experiences for my mom. Like I saw you just took your mom shopping and like I want my mom to know what that feels like. And so just to feel like I'm one of the first people in my immediate family to do that is like is really empowering. So I want to keep going.
I love it. I love it. Y'all, if you just now tuned in, man, she mentioned something that is very, very important. Like being a homeowner it's a wealth move. It's the next step. It's legacy. It's an example. And also being a homeowner, honestly, will help us eventually close the wealth gap, right? Because home ownership, you know, we'll be able to pass that home down to our kids. They'll be able to take the equity. And it's not the only thing, but it is a part of it. And you heard her say that, hey, I was able to get a home while eliminating my debt. So she didn't have a lot of debt and she didn't have a lot of open trade lines and she was still able to get a mortgage. And some of y'all are probably thinking, well, how do I do that? Well, that's so funny. We didn't even talk about this, but it's so funny because I've partnered with Churchill Mortgage, who finances all of my homes, and they have an amazing program. Whether you're struggling with some with some issues on your credit report and you're fixing them, whether you have no credit, or maybe you just want to refi and just get into a home or get into a brand new home as a first-time home buyer, I want you to check them out. Go to anthonyoneal.com/Churchill. They're going to give you a discount for just going over to them as far as them being a part of my tribe and my family. But here's what I love. The market is so high right now, right? And it is a difficult time to purchase because cash is pretty much winning. Cash is king. When I hear people say cash ain't king, cash is king, right? But so Churchill understands that in this market right now, with everyone going through a bidding war, if they come to the table with cash buyers are typically getting a house quicker and faster. So Churchill's gonna get behind you and offer some more cash to help you be a guaranteed buyer. So not only will you have to give your earnest money, when you purchase a home, but they're going to give you $5,000 to put on top of that earnest money, not just $5,000, but they're going to give you a certified pre-approval. And a certified means that their underwriter has already looked at your file and said, yo, we're 95% there. We just need to get the house, make sure the house is solid, and we are pretty much good to go. So go to anthonyoneal.com/Churchill. Join me, join Elena as being homeowners. I don't care if you're single. I don't care if you're 25, 35, 48, 55. If you're going down the journey of being a homeowner, let my friends Churchill Mortgage help you out. Wherever you are in the United States of America, they can help you out. No, Elena, I want to ask you this question. I wrote this down when I was going through your story. For those people who were probably like me and you, we didn't really get a lot of like the financial education growing up.
Right.
We saw, I don't know about you, but I saw like my parents not struggling, but struggling.
Yeah.
I had real good middle class parents. My mom, like you, had 3 jobs. She would work for the school system, get off of there and go work for the Christian bookstore. Then on the weekends, back then, she worked for Kmart, right? And she would work hard just to provide for the home. We wouldn't see my father that much because he'll be working. And I'm curious, for what would you say to people right now who are saying, you know what, I'm young, I'm single like you. Where do I start? Like where? Do I get Dave Ramsey's book? Do I listen to Anthony's podcast? Do I get around the right people? Like if you had to talk to yourself now, right? What would you tell your 25-year-old self now? Like how to start the process?
Yeah, I feel like knowledge is power.
Yeah.
So I think knowing that, if they're listening or watching, this is like the first step is to educate yourself about what you're doing. I feel like I came from the same thing. When I went to school, it was 2009, so that was like in the midst of like all the economic stuff, and it was like extremely hard to maneuver that, watch my parents maneuver that. But it's so cliche to say like know your why, but your why is so important. And again, like when I started to entertain the idea, wanting to pay on your debt is nice, but it's not enough. Like you need to have like the driving factor behind what you do.
Yeah.
And for me, it was what is life going to look like 5 years, 10 years, 40 years down the road for me?
Right.
How does that affect my family? How do I make a difference? And how do I, be generous and be able to, again, like do the things that I am called to do? Yeah. So all that to say, I would say to get educated, to know your why behind what you're doing, and to make a plan. I mean, everyone hates the cuss word budget, but it's, if you, what do they say? Like, if you don't plan, you plan to fail if you...
Yep, you plan to fail if you don't plan.
You don't fail to plan. You don't fail to plan.
Wait. If you plan to fail,
if you fail to plan. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Hey man, listen.
And it's true.
Yeah.
Like if you're just saying like you want to get out of debt, but you have no plan, like you're not gonna hit your target.
That's true.
So I would say know your why, get knowledge, continue to listen to these things. I listen to so much Dave Ramsey. I've listened to you. I've read books to just keep me motivated, because you may be in environments where people aren't going to get it and they're not going to encourage you until now it's done. So they're like, oh my gosh, it's so great. But going through it can get lonely. So you have to continue to connect with people and communities that are doing this, that makes this talk normal to you.
Yeah.
So those are the things I would say.
Are you in your degree field right now?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're like one of the lucky ones.
Very few. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're one. What's your degree?
PR, public relations.
For real.
Yeah.
And you're in that today.
I am. Yeah. I am.
I'm telling people, man, because the reason why so many, especially people of color, I'm being real, right? The reason why so many of us are in debt is because of student loans.
Yeah.
We have student loans because we were just told to go to school, but we didn't really walk through a process to identify what's the best career path for me.
Right.
And I think we as a people are not educating our young people on what we should do.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know, because so you went to school, you've always wanted to be in PR.
Not always, but when I went to, so I actually started off a graphic design major. That was random.
For real?
And then I realized like they just sit in front of the screen all day.
Yeah.
So I went to like a career fair,
Okay.
and that's kind of what attracted me to PR. So that's how I got into it. But also, I mean, your passions and what you think you're going to do for the rest of your life, that changes.
Yeah.
Like as you get older, and I think people have such a like linear view of like how they want their life to go.
Yeah.
But you know, as you grow, things are going to change. But you need that fluidity and freedom to be able to pivot if you want to pivot, if you feel like you're being called in a different direction.
Yeah.
And so I do feel like now I have those options to do that and not feel stuck in like, no, I went to school for this, I did it the right way, and I have to stay here.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a huge thing.
You know, one of the things for me, I'm teaching, I'm really doing a lot of studying this, right, is when I look at the PR field, that's good income. You can really be a good income, especially if you launch your own PR firm.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. You know,
It's probably better than being in-house.
oh, absolutely. I mean, I think if you're called to be an entrepreneur, you will make more money than being an employee.
Right.
Bottom line, if
Yes.
you're called to it.
Right.
Not everyone's going to be the Michael Jordan, the LeBron James, the Kobe Bryants, the, you know what I'm saying, the I mean, nah. I was about to say Kyrie Irving. Kyrie is Kyrie. He ain't no Michael Jordan. He never will be. You know, but Kyrie could be another Scottie Pippen. I think if, and I say this to say like everyone is not called to be an entrepreneur.
Agreed.
And I think that everyone should do the research, you know? So like do you feel you're called to be an entrepreneur?
I do.
Oh.
I do.
Okay then.
Yeah.
So in the PR area, have like your own PR firm or something like that?
No. I think that's like this season now of just like exploring my talents and like leaning into
That's so good,
the
though.
things that I am excited about to do. So yeah, but also being able to maximize like my job as well, like my 9 to 5 of where I'm at. So, you know, now that I don't have debt, this is my first investor into whatever, you know, is my next step for me. So it's cool to like have that freedom to like work this job, but also have the freedom to like choose something else if that's what I feel like is next.
You know, here's the thing for me. And I mean, this is what I'm telling you. Do you know much about tech?
So I'm in tech. That's why my industry is tech.
Let's go.
But so I'm a publicist for a tech company. Yeah.
You're a publicist for a tech company.
Yes.
And would you suggest us as in, because how many black people are in tech, like in the company you're working for? Without saying the names.
Okay, so out of like, it's a smaller tech firm, but I would probably say it's probably like 30 of us.
30?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of over like 300 maybe.
300?
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen, man, listen, y'all. I'm gonna put this link in today's show notes. Okay, I'm gonna put this link in today's show notes. AnthonyO'Neill.com/Bethel. AnthonyO'Neill.com/Bethel. All right. Bethel Tech is teaching us black people how to get into the tech field and make six figures.
I love it.
And here's my thing. It's like, when I'm listening to you talk, this is why you're out of debt. It's like, you're working a job that you like. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's paying the bills. It's the vehicle that's going to eventually get you to where you really want to be.
Agreed.
And I think this millennial generation, they're not identifying the correct vehicle.
Yeah.
And they're just saying, let me go get a job, or let me just stay at home with mom and dad forever and just do what I want to do until hopefully something lands, rather than saying, you know what? Let me look into the tech field. Let me look into this so I can get a job that I may not want to retire from this.
Right.
But it's a great job.
Right.
That will pay me six figures. And if I live below my means, if I pay off all of my debt, get a fully funded emergency fund, I can use this vehicle to get me to the door of where I want to be.
Right. And there's so many like non-traditional jobs within tech. Like my job is a non-traditional job. You don't think PR and you're like, oh, she works at a tech company. But there's so many jobs within the tech industry that you could do that have nothing to do with like engineering or UX design or all these like fancier things that people feel like they have to work in that industry. So yeah, that changed the game for me because I came from an agency world, and jumping from that to tech was that's how I grew my income a lot.
Let go.
Yeah.
Come on, give me some love.
It is.
Give me some love. See, she said it, not me. Oh my gosh. So listen, you need to go to anthonyneal.com/Bethel. We didn't even talk about this. Okay, it's not on my notes. But it's like, for me, this is why I'm so passionate about this, man. I'm like, not every. I think some people go to school, they spend all this money to get all these degrees, rack up all this debt, and then they don't use it. Like you know what I'm saying? When you can go to like a certificate program like Bethel Tech, pay maybe $10,000 to $13,000, get out of there in 9 months, making about $100,000 a year, anywhere between $65,000 to $100,000 a year. Bethel Tech, check this out. Tell me, would you do this with your kid?
Okay.
So CJ, my producer's daughter, right? Bethel Tech just came out with a program to where they are now allowing high school students to go through their 9-month program as a senior. So when they graduate high school, they graduate with a Bethel Tech certificate, right? And they can get a tech job making $65,000 a year as a senior.
Entry level.
Yeah.
I mean,
would you rock with it if your daughter or son said, Mom, I want to do this?
Definitely. I think that, hopefully, I hope that we're moving out of this, but I think in my generation specifically, it was like ingrained in your head, like the only way to be successful is like go to college for your degree, rack up the debt, and then go get a job. But there's so many other ways to be successful.
So many other ways. So many. You don't have to rack up debt.
And even like talking about non-traditional jobs, like you can get work at a tech job being a social media manager, which has nothing to do with what you think.
Come on.
Working in HR and people.
You man, listen. I see why you're different. So over the last 5 years, you've learned so many things.
Yes, so much.
I mean, from, like I say, you learn more about tech. You learn how to get out of debt. You learn how to have discipline. This month's book of the month is called Essentialism: The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. Right. We'll put this in the show descriptions. Yes. Right. And what I love about this book, it says essentialism isn't about getting more done in less time. It's about getting only the right things done.
Love that. Yeah.
That's why I was picking on you earlier, because it was like, you weren't focused on a lot of things. You was focused on the right thing.
Yeah.
The right things was getting my life together. The wrong things was dating. I mean, because if you're trying to get your life together, it really will be a distraction if you're dating.
It's a huge distraction, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because dating, it requires attention. And sometimes that attention brings some negative energy and some things that you should not be doing. And so it sounds like the reason why you was able to get to where you want to go to by your goal is because you focused on less. And less as in you focused on the things that was important and the things that were right.
Yeah.
What have you learned? Not really what have you learned, because we know what you've learned, but how have you implemented the things that you've learned into your life today when it comes to now money, when it comes to life? Are you dating now since you're debt free?
I'm open.
She said that. She said she's open, brothers. Yo, that was quick. That was quick, boy. Before she was like, nah, I wasn't dating.
I waited a long time.
Oh, okay, what's your requirements? Do you have any requirements?
I mean, yeah, I would feel like we have requirements. But I think my biggest requirement is mentally being on the same level as me. Does that make sense? So, like, understanding... I've learned so much about, maximizing my money and all these types of things. I need to have these conversations. I need to know that we're on the same page as far as those things. Legacy building, I need to know that we're on the same page as those things.
So would you date a guy who makes less money than you?
Yeah, I would.
I believe you.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't believe some people at my table, but I believe you. Would you date a guy who has debt?
If he was convicted to get out.
Okay.
Working towards getting out of debt, yes.
So
but
what if you meet him? What if you meet him?
him?
He take you out to dinner. He like, Elena, I think you're beautiful, girl. You know what I'm saying? He's speaking all that right talk. Like, girl, look at your weave. You know what I'm saying? You look good.
I hope you wouldn't say that. I'd be like, check.
You be like, check. I wouldn't say that. But I mean, he complimented your hair. He's saying all the right stuff. And then when y'all get to the conversation of, just, mindset around money and stuff like that, he says, I never thought about attacking my debt right now. But what if you've convinced him to attack the debt? Would you still entertain him then? Like, you were the reason why he's attacking the debt.
If he started to walk that out, yes. There's a Bible verse that I'm not going to get it completely correct, but it says talking about getting rich is foolish and it leads to poverty. So for me, it's like, if you're just going to talk about it, like, your outcome is going to be the same.
So how much time would you give him? Like, because I mean, it sounds like you'll be a little turned off at the initial conversation. But would you give him time to start producing fruit? I
think more than the producing, I think our conversations and hearing that person's heart will tell a lot about what their actual intentions will be. So I feel like having those conversations, I can tell someone who's serious about, like, for example, people know to go to the gym to work out. They know exactly what to do. Yeah, so you can say all of that, but until you, go there, and, it's just, that makes a difference. So for me, I need to see it by not just you're producing fruit, but what are you doing on a daily basis to get you to where you're supposed to be. So that's what I would say. But I prefer to date someone without debt.
You prefer?
Yeah. But I would be open.
You have no kids. Would you date a guy with kids?
No. Well, would I date a guy with kids? Maybe.
Why did you say no quick and then you said maybe?
No, I thought you asked if I had kids.
No, okay. All right.
The situation's
You're 31. Date younger?
Maybe.
No, that's a no. Just say no. Your maybe was like,
maybe.
No, she said, "Well, I've been working hard. I don't know if a young man can help me out here."
If you are walking in purpose, do what you're supposed to do. That's all that matters.
I like that answer, and I think that's how we should end today's show. If you are walking in your assigned assignment and purpose, just be you. Yeah. I think that's important. And you know what? Here's the truth. Walking in your assignment and purpose is actually harder than walking outside of your assignment.
I agree.
It's easy to blend in with others. It's hard to stay true to yourself.
I agree. And I felt very convicted about that very early on. And I remember the day that I paid, I clicked that button. I called them to make sure that my payment had went through, that it was the last payment. And I just cried. And I told God, you can trust me with this. I managed well what you've given me, and I want to continue to do that in all areas of my life, whatever is next for me. And so I hope that, when I connect with people, whether it's friends, whether it's someone I'm dating, that's something that they also are convicted about.
Yo, man, you are amazing.
Thank you.
Your story is amazing. I am just excited about your journey. Thank you for coming on and sharing your journey, your story, and I pray that you all were encouraged by her story. Just such a sweet spirit. Oh. So if you're in the Dallas area, brothers, we gonna. You know what? For this show, because I don't want y'all sliding her DMs right now. Y'all gonna have to find her on your own. You know what I'm saying? Find her on your own. And if y'all find her on your own, I mean, hey. Do your thing, but I don't want nobody crazy sliding up in her DMs like that. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Just don't say weed when you talk to her.
I can't.
Yo, you guys, listen. Don't forget to read. If you really want to be successful in life, we're going to be readers this year. So don't forget to get this month's book of the month called "The Disciplined Pursuit of Less" by Greg McKeown. I'm actually reading it right now. I'll be honest with you, I have not completed it, and if you want to get through the actual key nuggets of the book quicker, it is long. It's about 300 pages. Go to anthonyoneal.com/short form, and they will give you a 10-page PDF of this book. But I suggest doing both. Get the short form version so you can get the quick nuggets and start applying these to your life every single day. But actually read the whole book. And so I will make sure to link this month's book of the month inside of today's show notes. And don't forget to check out my friends over at BetterHelp, Churchill Mortgage, and Bethel Tech. I mean, yo, we listen, man, we're giving y'all some jewels today. You know, we gave you a lot of stuff, gave you a lot of encouragement. I pray that this blesses you. And yo, listen, if you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and please make sure you hit the thumbs up because, wow, $101,000 paid off.
And I also have a podcast.
Do you have a podcast?
I do.
Oh, we gotta push it.
Yeah, so I started it during the pandemic.
Did you?
When I didn't have a job.
Okay.
And I just tell stories and things that I've learned now that I paid off debt. So,
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Vital Money.
Vital Money.
Yes.
Okay, so is it Vital Money on podcast? This is what you type in.
Spotify, Apple, all
Everything.
those things. Yeah.
Yo, we're gonna drop that information below. Yo, check it out. Support her, y'all. Go over there and show her some love. Drop a 5-star. Give her some major love. So we'll drop all the information. Make sure you get that to me.
Okay.
So I can put that in today's show notes. All right. Love you all. Peace out.